the ball in an attempt to get it on the other side of the 50 for the opponent coming in to keep them out of field goal range and scoring position. Huge part of the game. Huge part of the game. So the first goal in our heads as coaches, whenever we're backed up, get the ball to the 5-yard line. Okay. The second goal then to win the drill, okay, is we got to get a first down. Give our offense at least 3 more football plays to push it out to the 15, 18, 20, and then really get back into a normal field position setting. How many times have you seen in a game a team can't get it out of the black zone, their defense goes out and stops them, they get it back in the black zone, you're playing an entire half on one side of the field. You got no chance to score in that moment, okay? So from that, we have to have a series of play calls that make up our identity, okay? And this is what I think, in my experience, has really helped us. And this is a play call philosophy that our kids were so in tune to that once the ball got backed up on the -1, 2, or 3, 1st and 10, good guys, they had a tremendous amount of confidence in knowing what we were going to call, why we were going to call it in order to attack a defense that we were anticipating, in order to get the ball first to the 5-yard line, and then also to get that first down without losing the situations of those drills. You're in a situation where you could give up points with a safety. You know, in college football, if you're holding and the quarterback's standing in the end zone, that's a safety. So you can't give up points. You can't turn the ball over down here. You got to get the ball to the 5. You flip the field, and then you got to get a first down. So these play calls are going to reflect that. The first one, and guys, I think this is extremely important. Everybody's a shotgun team. Everybody's a shotgun team, but there are 3 areas that I think that you need to be able to go under center. And this is the number one, if the only reason, is sneak. Not a big fan of it. Coach quarterback forever. Don't like getting that guy, hit in a big pile and people laying on him and punching him in the ribs and twisting his knee. But if the ball is on the 1-inch line or 2-inch line, and all 11 human beings are standing in the end zone, you got to call the sneak. You can't take the ball off the line of scrimmage right there, because even a no gain is a safety. Okay, so it's very important that you have the ability to sneak the football. I think the other 2 areas are when you're going to kill at the end of a 2-minute drive. In tight victory, I just hate giving up 5 yards of rushing because we can't go under center. And guys, every quarterback needs to go under center, right? Jam that middle knuckle into his rear end and bottom hand pressure the thing. Bottom hand, the top hand follows the center's rear end, and your bottom hand, your opposite elbow locks out and chases the ball. So you're constantly having that pocket of being able to go under center. But that's the number one thing. Excuse me, I dropped my pen. The second play, so we're going to carry that. We're going to practice that once a week, coming off the 1-inch line. Okay, if we're ever in that situation, we're going to execute that. The second thing that I think is important is on 3rd down. Okay, I think it's important on 3rd down if you're in a situation where your quarterback's feet are in the end zone. Again, because of the holding, could be a safety. You've got a lot of things that can go bad. They're going to pin their ears back and rush like their lives depend on it in that moment. We only call 3-step, but that's it. I don't care if it's 3rd and 9. If my quarterback's got his feet in the end zone, we're not going to put him through a full field read in that moment. And you'll be shocked at how many in a 1,000-play series, end-of-season cut-ups, you're only in this situation 10, 12 times the entire year. Okay, so we're only talking 1 or 2 calls the entire year. But those 1 or 2 calls in that moment, if it's on the 1-inch line, we're going to sneak it. And if it's 3rd down backed up, we're going to play with 3-step protection, 3-step routes. It eliminates the ability for sacks. It eliminates the ability for holding calls. In college, you can cut the edges, so you're not going to get a holding call there. And then most importantly, it's a catch and run situation. So the ball gets out quick. We can get a completion, and we're going to noose drill every day and ask that wide receiver to turn into a fullback and get those last couple hard yards. So those 2 situations within this situation, I think, are things that are crucial in your game planning and things you carry every week, period. Now, the thing that we're going to do from an identity standpoint down here, from a play call standpoint, there are a couple of musts for me, and again, it just comes from failure and success of being down there a whole lot in the last 25 years, right? So the first one is, guys, I need to be in a 12 personnel type of situation. I want long edges down here. I'm not a fan of running inside zone or power to a nub down here. Any type of long edge that could be a TFL that's not protected, not cool with. Okay, so we're you can start with this type of formation where you've got the long edges. Again, we're not on the 1 inch line, so we don't need to sneak. You could be in this type of formation. You could be in this type of formation. You could be in this type of formation. You could be in this type of formation, right? And keep them on the same side. There's a lot of ways you can get to long edges out of 12 personnel. You can have them out wide and bring them in, but the key is the number one thing we're going to do when we have play calls back here is we're going to have long edges. The second thing that I'm going to do in this situation, guys, is I want to have play calls that are zone. Don't get me wrong. Big fan of power. Got to carry it. Got to help the center. Got to come off the ball. Down blocks are important. D lineman can't just see zone all day. But when you're backed up, the only problem with power is there's a chance for TFL. There are run-through gaps on the block back and the anchor hinge. You can get an A-gap run-through. You can get a B-gap run-through. A lot of defensive coordinators backed up are going to stack the box and bring the house to try and get that free 2 points and the ball back for their offense. So we are not going to run any gap schemes down here. We are only going to run our true inside cut back, eyes in the via the neck, 2 hats, 4 hands, dent the defense, get the ball to the 5-yard line. The other thing that we're going to do is when we RPO these things, we're only going to have RPOs that are like hitches and speed outs. Okay? For instance, let's say we're in an I-Pro set and we're trying to run inside zone. Forgive me. Let me do this. Oh, forgive me. Let me do this. All right. We're trying to run inside zone, right? We got 2 long edges right here. And we're not pulling anybody, so there's no threat of run through right in there. And let's say they're playing a 7-man box, 8, 9, and they're in there tight, and we've got off coverage. All right, they're playing basically 9 on a 7-man I-Pro box. Okay, let's say you're getting that, and you're giving the quarterback the chance to RPO it. Well, the only RPOs we're going to run are hitches and speed outs, and the reason for that is you got less opportunity for a tipped ball in here and an interception, okay? So if we have an opportunity and we see that we've got one-on-one and enough cushion to take the gift on either side based upon these 2 fit players being in the box, we talked about the triangle last week, we will RPO tag this inside run, but we're going to tag it only with hitches and my favorite, the 4-step bow route, the speed out, in order to get the free 5, get the ball and win the drill, but more importantly, eliminate any chance for a type of tipped ball by running a slant or some type of inward route. We're not going to tag bubbles and smokes back here because you can see DBs, read that route of the wide out and attack right now. And again, there's too many opportunities for TFLs right there. Okay. The other thing that I like to always do down here if I've got a free play is we're going to take a shot. Okay, those are the things that we're going to have in our identity, right? We're gonna get in that same personnel set with that Y and that H, that 12 personnel. If this is the way we ran the inside zone, then this is the way we'll protect the drop back. And to one side, guys, we're going to run a post, and to one side, we're going to run a post corner. This is your quarters beater, right? This is your cover 2, cover 3 beater to give the quarterback an out. if there's a middle safety that's playing this post. And I think it's important that you take a shot and let the opponent know that we're going to try to win